Chapter 09. Is this even a village? Benimaru murmured, his brow furrowed. Maybe he had a point. With 1,000 people meticulously working day and night, this place had transformed from a village into a thriving town. The plaza was built shortly after the Ogre's arrival, marking a significant upgrade in our development. But let's focus on the festival. Our guests of honor were the Ogres, and the entire population gathered in the plaza, laying down carpets that would serve as a communal dining area. Our chiefs brought out a gigantic pot that left us all in awe. Oi, isn't this a little bit too much? I asked Rigurd, eyeing the massive cauldron. And then there were the mountains of booze brought in by the Dwarven brothers, adding to the astonishing spectacle unfolding before us. When did we acquire all this booze? I exclaimed. Well, Master, Vesta happened to be a rich nobleman from Dworgen. As payment for letting him work here, Vesta imported these drinks from Dworgen, Kaijin explained, a wide smile stretching across his face. That's great and all, but Vesta was sitting in a corner with a sour expression, clearly unhappy about being forced to import the alcohol. Oi, just how much did all this cost? I asked, genuinely curious. It's impossible to count the bottles, but money-wise, Vesta spent 40 gold coins on booze, Kaijin replied. Are you planning an alcohol buffet? I couldn't help but sympathize with Vesta's dwindling bank account, but I was also grateful. After all, I loved booze. With this supply, I could already imagine Shizu-san getting playful after a few drinks. Ehem. Coming back to my senses, I focused on the scene before me. A plentiful amount of monsters secured by the patrol team had been lined up in front of the town's professional cooks. The top goblin lords, under Rigurd's guidance, then laid down black rice on the carpets placed around the plaza. It almost felt like we were preparing for a massive hot pot feast, except the whole town was involved. Lady Shizu, if you will, one of the goblin lords said respectfully. Understanding the request, Shizu-san ignited the large pot with ease. It seemed her popularity in town was steadily growing, her generous attitude and willingness to help were endearing her to everyone. She fit in perfectly. I morphed into my human form and strolled through the town, exchanging greetings as I walked. Various monsters welcomed me as we all prepared for the feast. Great Rimuru, good evening as well, Lord Rimuru. The greetings came from all directions, and I could feel the warmth of Tempest, this home I had worked so hard to protect. It had finally taken shape. As I took in the moment, I recalled Milam's words to me from long ago. The most important things are always fragile. Are you ready if someday all of this falls apart? Her words echoed in my mind, a reminder of the delicate balance we lived in. I didn't know what the future of this timeline had in store for us, but I knew one thing for certain, I would protect this town. I would protect everyone. With that thought, I raised my hand. Simple barrier, I chanted softly, pouring just the right amount of magic into it. The barrier would allow monsters in my chronology to pass through but keep out those with ill intent. I doubted we would be attacked this early in the game, but with the entire population gathered in the central plaza, it was better to be cautious. The barrier was also specialized for keeping out egoless monsters from the forest. Everything was ready for the night's festivities, and for the first time in a long while, I felt at peace. Hollow diamond. The orcs raised the ogres. Kaijin nearly spilled his drink, unable to contain his shock. Is it that strange SSU? Gobta asked, glancing around. Naturally, Kaijin replied. Ogres are far more powerful than orcs. Let's say, hypothetically, you encountered a raging ogre, Gobta. If it could be avoided, would you dare fight one? Of course not SSU. We just got our butts handed to us by these ogres SSU, Gobta admitted with a shudder. Exactly, Kaijin said, taking a sip of his drink. If these ogres weren't as nice as they are, you all would have been seriously injured or worse, dead. I think I get it now SSU. Gobta muttered, his face pale. Benimaru then barged into the conversation, his face serious as he reported, but it's true. The orcs came to our village fully prepared. Their army wore iron chest plates, like those human soldiers wear. How in the world did orcs get their hands on such valuable weapons? Kaijin asked, his brows furrowing at the abnormality. We don't know, Benimaru replied. What we do know is that their overwhelming numbers and superior weaponry allowed them to raise our entire ogre clan, reducing our hundreds to just 6 survivors. And, there was a masked Majin among them, wearing a mask of anger. His voice turned bitter as he relived the devastation. Stroking his beard thoughtfully, Kaijin proposed a theory. There must be an unknown power supporting the orcs. Someone, or something, is pulling the strings behind the scenes. So you attacked Lady Shizu because of her mask SSU? Gopta asked innocently. Benimaru nodded. Yes, but who is that woman? She far exceeded all of us in strength. Kaijin grinned mischievously. In human terms, she's a hero, the conqueror of flames, Lady Shizu Izawa, and she's also Master Rimuru's woman. His smug tone caused heads to turn, and before long, others began murmuring in curiosity. This, destined one, thing was something only Kaijin, the dwarves, and I knew about. I quickly rolled over a piece of wood and smacked it across Kaijin's head. What kind of nonsense are you spouting? Shizu-san and I don't have that kind of relationship. I protested. Turning back to Benimaru, I asked, so, leader of the ogres, what's your plan of action? Without hesitation, he answered, we will rebuild our forces and strike them down, one by one. I raised an eyebrow. And do you know where to find them? His face faltered. Clearly, he had no structured plan beyond revenge. Look, Benimaru, I sighed, that roundabout way of thinking will only get you killed. And to be honest, I need strong people like you in my forces. So, I have a proposal. Would you have any interest in becoming my subordinates? Subordinates, he echoed, surprised. I nodded. All I can offer you is food and shelter, but you can use this town as a base to build up your strength. What do you say? Benimaru, ever the proud one, hesitated. Wait a minute, there's no need for you to do that. You mentioned that the orcs might be aiming to dominate the entire Great Jura Forest. That makes this place just as unsafe as anywhere else. That's why I need allies, people I can rely on. Besides, I added with a smile, I'm never going to abandon a friend. Benimaru, still unconvinced, said, we've seen Lady Shizu's strength, and from what I've observed, you possess an even greater, more mysterious power. Surely you don't need to worry. I shook my head. That won't do. Just having power doesn't mean you can recklessly go charging into battle unarmed. Every individual has their limits, and carelessness is the greatest enemy of all. I see powerful potential in you and your people, and that's why I want you to join me. The orcs are just one problem. What about the masked Majin? Not respecting the unknown is a fatal mistake. Benimaru needed to understand how flawed his current mindset was. Jumping into a fight with nothing but vengeance on his mind would only lead to disaster. A great commander must be ready to risk his life, yes, but Benimaru needed to grasp that his remaining people's future hinged on his leadership. It looked like my words finally got through to him. He lowered his head meticulously and declared, please, allow me some time to think it over. Take all the time you need, I replied calmly. At that moment, Shizu-san softly groaned, Rimuru-san tilde, reminding me that things were far from over. Oh, Shizu-san, this must be it. I heard from Ellen that Shizu-san was weak to alcohol. Foo-foo, I'm a genius, after all. I think I'm about to puke. Shizu-san, are you alright? I asked, concern creeping into my voice. I'm alright, the world is just spinning, she replied, her eyes glassy. What the heck is this? She doesn't even look cute, more like a grandma who accidentally drank too much booze. My plans were shattered. Realizing Shizu-san was in such a helpless state, I decided to accompany her to her little Japanese house. Grab on, I said, motioning for her to hold on tight. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm just going to take Shizu-san to her house. You can continue the party, I declared, waving off the crowd. Shizu-san's soft body pressed against my back as I carried her. While I could easily teleport us to her home, the warmth of her plush form made this moment oddly enjoyable. As I walked her home, the city roads were carefully illuminated by lamps that matched the village's aesthetic. I felt a twinge of guilt for my self-indulgence. Shizu-san, because of my greed, she couldn't sleep peacefully. Indeed, I had become the greediest person in the world. The twilight of the Great Jura Forest enveloped us, and I felt secure with the environment-friendly lamps lighting our path. I thought nothing could go wrong, but, of course, my luck had to ruin that. Suddenly, a notification pinged in my mind. An unusual person has been sensed via multi-dimensional detect. I didn't recall anything like this happening before. The event did not occur in the last timeline. Do you know who it is? I inquired. It's Demon Lord Luminous Valentine. Luminous. What could her motives be for barging in now? What do you want with me, Queen of the Vampires? I called out, my voice steady despite my growing unease. As anticipated, a lady dressed in a gothic black dress emerged from the shadows of the alley. You noticed? You must possess considerable power if I may say so, she remarked, her tone dripping with intrigue. Why are you here? What do you want with me? I pressed, determined to get answers. I simply came to visit that rascal evil lizard, she said. The storm dragon Veldora, he's already gone. Indeed, it pleases me to hear that pest has finally passed, but I didn't knew a larger pest was alive. She meant us. One of the teachings of Luminism is that monsterkind are enemies of God. Since demon Lord Luminous Valentine secretly leads the effort to build a city of monsters, my existence was a significant obstacle in her path. That's too bad. I have no intention of obeying your words, I retorted. With my current expertise, I could destroy Luminous, even with Shizu-san on my back. Luminous closed the distance between us until we were eye-to-eye. That girl you're carrying intrigues me. You wouldn't mind if I destroyed this place, would you? Her words were sharp, but I sensed no immediate intent to harm. Just so you know, I'm more powerful than you. Touch this place, and I'll make sure to turn the entire Rubrios into bits, I threatened, my voice low and steady. She glared at me with her heterochromatic eyes, a mix of curiosity and challenge flickering across her face. Where did you get all that information? She demanded, her voice tinged with anger. Well, now that we know each other, how about we discuss friendly relations? I suggested cheerfully, brushing aside her challenge. Luminous regarded me with a haughty glare. Fine, if you survive the disaster awaiting this land, I might consider it. I like that, plain and simple. So, what you mean by disaster is the Orc Lord, right? Phew, certainly, that's what I signify, she replied, her gaze locked onto mine with an intensity that felt almost probing. Then that settles it. I bid you farewell, she declared, turning to leave. With that, the visitor known as Demon Lord Valentine silently departed from the great Jura forest. The mention of the Orc Lord hung heavy in the air. I didn't doubt my abilities, but I couldn't shake off CL's warning. Luminous Valentine would most likely intervene in the battle. She had never stated she wouldn't interfere. CL-sensei truly is wonderful for keeping me informed. Back in reality, I needed to remain on my toes, so many changes had occurred, and we might be heading toward a very different future. Hollow diamond, hollow diamond, hollow diamond. After the enjoyable feast, drunken revelers sprawled across the plaza. As for me, I began my day with the leader of the ogres kneeling before me, ready to forge an alliance. I would like to accept the proposal you presented last night, but can we call this off after the orc battle? He suggested. No problem, let's fight the orcs together, and afterward, you can do whatever you want, stay with us or part ways, I replied confidently, convinced they would choose to stay. Then you are all hired. Please call the others for me. Understood. Following my command, he gathered the other ogres and brought them to my office. As a sign of you becoming my subordinates, I'm going to name all of you, I announced. The ogres looked puzzled, their concern evident about the risks involved in naming. But I was more powerful than they realized. It's fine, or do you not want names? I said, my tone lighthearted. But naming us comes with great. We have no complaints, one of them interjected. But brother, Princess hesitated, but their leader was resolute. We gratefully accept your naming, he affirmed. I'm counting on you, Seal, I'm leaving this to you to balance the magicals they will absorb. Then from left to right, you are Benimaru, Shuna, Shion, Soe, Hekuro, and Kurobi. With CL's assistance, Benimaru and the others underwent the same evolution as in the other timeline. Thanks to CL's balance during naming, the ogres transformed into humanoid figures and evolved into Kijins. We know a decisive battle will soon reach this land. This is an order. Find your preferred battle strategies and prepare for the intense fight ahead. I shall patrol the area for our advantage, Soe stated confidently. As expected, he was a master of his craft. Great Rimuru. Shall I? Benimaru asked. Sure, what is it? When it comes to commanding an army, I doubt anyone can rival me. Shall I assess our forces? He proposed. Absolutely, but don't expect too much, our population mainly consists of hobgoblins. Ho ho, then leave the goblins, training to me, Great Rimuru. He declared. Yeah, I'll leave it to you, Hekuro. With him on board, our guards would finally learn some swordsmanship instead of remaining complete amateurs. Great Rimuru, I know this town's clothing is sturdy, but it lacks fashion. Leave the clothing development to me, Shuna said with a smile. Sure, I'll leave it to you, Shuna. I may not stand a chance against these young ones on the battlefield, but I take pride in my smithing skills. Is there a blacksmith in town, Great Rimuru? Kurobi inquired. Yeah, we have an infamous dwarven smith named Kaijin. You two will get along. I'll rely on you to create quality equipment before the battle, I declared. Leave it to me. As for Xian, she wasn't the brightest among them and relied more on muscle than intellect. Great Rimuru, what should I do? I have too many talents, and I can't think of a single position, she lamented. Goo. The Kijins stopped in their tracks, perhaps worried about what position I would assign Xian. That's too bad. I can't have you overwork yourself, right? I replied. I understand. Now that I think of it, what is Lady Shizu's role in this town? She asked, clearly admiring Shizu-san. Shizu-san is talented. Sometimes she helps at the office, instructs local students, and patrols the area, I explained. Xian's eyes sparkled as if she had just come to a conclusion. I've made up my mind. I want to be this town's executive chef. Geek. The expressions on Benimaru and the others turned to panic as they realized the implications of Xian's declaration. If we didn't stop her now, the entire town would be at risk. Is that really okay? Xian pleaded with wide, innocent eyes. How could I refuse such a request? Those eyes were too persuasive. In contrast, the other Kijins' faces screamed for me to deny her. Relax, take a deep breath, and focus. I'm the leader of this town. We can't risk annihilation because of Xian's cooking. Well, that's not true, right? I think Xian is a capable fighter. A cook is too low a position for her. Ha ha. Great Rimuru is right. You shouldn't place yourself in such a lowly position, Shuna backed me up. Princess, Great Rimuru, you are right. Benimaru chimed in, giving me a secret thumbs up. Xian, how about being my secretary? She tilted her head, curious. Secretary. A secretary is a high position. It's basically my closest aide. Of course, we were all trying to trick Xian, and at least the other Kijins were playing along. Great Rimuru's closest aide. I'm envious. Aha. Haha. Our ruse was obvious, but finally, Xian relented. I see. I am Great Rimuru's greatest company. She exclaimed loudly. A wave of sighs of relief swept through the Kijins as the situation finally settled. With the Kijins forging an allegiance with me, Tempest gained powerful allies. Their cooperation promised to bring about significant improvements. Regardless of the political aspects, I had gained another group of friends. To be continued.